Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about two of the biggest, and I mean biggest, roadblocks in the crypto world: a total lack of privacy and a user experience that's, well, honestly, it's just a nightmare. But we're going to be looking at a new blockchain called Midnight that says it has the solution.
Okay, so let's kick things off with a simple question that really gets to the heart of the problem. What if buying a cup of coffee meant the person behind the counter could suddenly see everything? I mean your entire bank history, your rent, your subscriptions, that kind of weird late-night Amazon purchase, all of it. Spooky, right?
Well, believe it or not, that's not some crazy hypothetical. It's the reality today on major blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Every single thing you do is carved into a public ledger for anyone on Earth to see, forever. And let's be real, that's not a feature, that's a massive bug.
And you can see how this creates huge issues, right? For businesses trying to keep their trade secrets, well, secret, and for regular people like you and me who, just value a little privacy. So this is where Midnight steps in with its first huge idea, something they call selective disclosure.
Now, what's really interesting here is how this completely flips the script. Instead of everything being public unless you jump through a bunch of hoops, on Midnight, everything is private by default. Privacy isn't the exception anymore, it's the standard.
And this breaks down the power it gives back to you beautifully. It's your data, so you make the rules. It's as simple as this. You choose what to share, you choose who you share it with, and you choose when to share it. That's it. It's real control, plain and simple.
Okay, so fixing privacy is massive, for sure, but that's only half the story. Midnight is also going after that other huge barrier that keeps people away from crypto. The whole process of using it is just way too complicated and expensive.
I mean, think about it. On most networks today, if you want to use an app, what do you have to do? You've got to go to an exchange, buy some of their special crypto token, and then you have to spend that token, your investment, just to pay for fees. It's a huge pain, and it stops so many people before they even get started. So to get this thing off the ground and into the hands of a ton of people, Midnight did something called the Glacier Drop. And get this, it brought in almost 200,000 claimants from all over the crypto space. I mean, that's how you build a diverse community right from day one.
And what's really telling is that this wasn't just one group of fans. Look at this. About half of the people who claimed tokens came from outside the Cardano world. We're talking people from Bitcoin, Ethereum, you name it. That just shows you how much this idea of solving usability resonates with, well, pretty much everyone.
So, how does Midnight actually pull this off? How do they get rid of that fee problem for all those new users? Well, they have this really clever dual token model. It splits things in two. You've got the Night token, which is your investment, your long-term value. And then you've got this other thing called Dust, which is just for paying fees. And this is where it gets really smart. Just by holding your Night tokens, you automatically get a daily allowance of Dust. Think of it like getting a few free bus tickets every day. That Dust is what you use for transactions. And here's the kicker. It decays. It disappears over time. So it's not some speculative asset you have to go out and buy. It's just utility. And for developers, they can actually rent unused Dust from other people, which means they can make their apps completely free to use. The fees just vanish into the background.
All right, so we've got these two huge ideas, right? Privacy by default and this wild new fee model. So how do they actually come together to make the whole experience better? Well, it's all about making crypto, just work.
The last major piece of this puzzle has a kind of techie name, account abstraction. But don't let the name fool you. It's a really simple but super powerful idea. What if you could just use the wallet you already know and trust? No more downloading new software every time you want to try a new blockchain.
And that leads to a user journey that looks something like this. You hear about a cool new app on Midnight. You go to the site, you connect your MetaMask or whatever wallet you already use, and boom, you're in. You just start using it. The fees, they're all handled behind the scenes. No new wallet to install, no new tokens to buy. It just works. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Here's a quote from Sebastian Guillemot. He's the CTO at the Midnight Foundation. He says, the whole point is that it just works, without you having to pay any fees. All that's orchestrated behind the scenes. The goal is to make all that crazy complex tech totally invisible to you.
Okay, let's pull back a little bit. How is Midnight going to fit into the bigger crypto world? I mean, it's not being built in a bubble, so let's talk about interoperability and performance.
So Midnight isn't just some island floating off on its own. It's actually launching with a really deep connection to the Cardano blockchain. In fact, The people who validate and secure the Midnight network are also required to run a Cardano node. That means there's this tight integration and shared security baked in from the very beginning.
And when we look to the future, the next big evolution for both Midnight and Cardano is a technology called Starstream. This is where things get really next level.
So Starstream uses this cutting-edge crypto called ZK, or Zero Knowledge Proofs. Now, in simple terms, that's a way to prove something is true without actually revealing the secret information itself. And Starstream uses this magic for two big things. First, to crank up the privacy even more, and second, to do something called transaction compression, which is all about making the network super efficient.
So what does that compression actually mean for you, the user? Well, imagine right now doing a bunch of DeFi stuff. Swapping a token, adding liquidity to a pool, taking out a loan. That's like 3, 4, maybe 5 separate transactions, right? With transaction compression, you can do all of that. Swap the token, provide the liquidity, and take the loan, all in one single instantaneous move. It's a total game changer for how you interact with these apps.
So when you put it all together, privacy by default, a fee model that basically disappears, and this incredible focus on user experience and working with other chains, Midnight is making a really powerful argument for what a more accessible and private digital future could look like. It's really trying to be the blockchain that anyone can use. The big question left is the world ready for it?